Octopath Traveler 2. The younger, better-looking brother of Octopath Traveler. Hey, welcome to the channel. I'm glad you're here. If you haven't already, please hit that like, please hit the subscribe, please leave a comment because I do respond to comments. YouTube is a little bit weird in that sometimes it won't show everyone that is already subscribed to the channel anytime I upload something new, so hit the bell, that way you don't miss anything. As far as comments go, I do like to make videos responding to the comments, so hey, maybe you'll get lucky, maybe I'll respond to you later. So, with that being said, we're going to talk about Octopath Traveler 2 today, which if you saw my Octopath Traveler video prior, which I'll go ahead and put a little card up in the corner for you to check out if you want, there were some things I didn't particularly like. Octopath Traveler 2 fixed a couple of those things, so hey, let's talk about it. Now, Octopath Traveler 2, for those who don't know anything about Octopath Traveler, is a 2D, HD 2D video game with HD graphics, but pixel sprites, kind of a pixely style world, but it's set 3D environment style, almost like a diorama. I think it's a very beautiful style. I originally wasn't super thrilled about it, but then when I started playing the games and started really enjoying the environments, there really is a lot there that is very strikingly beautiful. Octopath Traveler, both games follow 8 protagonists. Every one of them has their own little story. Octopath Traveler 1 was definitely individualized. Octopath Traveler 2 has a little bit more interconnectivity. While it's not necessarily as interconnected as I would have liked, it still did a much better job than the first. So we got a lot to cover here, so let's get right into the gameplay. The systems are very similar to Octopath Traveler. You have this big, beautiful world that you go all over the place, explore different towns, explore different areas, you get involved in random encounters. There's now a day and a night cycle, which the encounters do change whether you're in the day or in the night. Night encounters tend to be a little more difficult, so it's easier to kind of level up fighting things at night than it is during the day. And there's still class actions, and you'll find that class actions during the day are different than the class actions during the night. Every single character has 2 different class actions now, depending on day or night, and there's a lot more interconnectivity between the stories. In fact, I remember seeing a story in which Throne and Hikari had sort of an interconnectivity. They met with the same person, they ended up going through like a small side story just with this person off to the side that honestly didn't really go anywhere, didn't really mean much, but it was interesting to see there was sort of a little more connectivity between those characters. That's kind of the big thing that Octopath Traveler 2 has hand over fist, well over Octopath Traveler 1, is the interconnectivity. Now there's a number of things that are included in the battle system now. You'll see that, it's the same battle system. Every single turn will accrue battle points if you don't use them, but if you use them, you get more than one action in your turn. Now, there's a little gauge that builds up that allows you to do a latent power, which every single person is a little bit different. Hikari's latent powers are very powerful attacks. Throne's latent power is that she can use more than one turn within the same round, that kind of thing. There's a lot that you can do with those latent powers. Every character has their own little latent power that does something different, and it helps add a little strategy to the game. Now, one thing I will say is this game is much, much less grindy than the first. I felt like going from chapter to chapter really didn't take that much time, not nearly as much as the original, because in the original you go from you're like level 25 for one chapter, and then the next chapter you had to go all the way up to like level 38, and then the next chapter was like level 50 something, and it's like this is going to take a long time just to get between chapters, whereas in this one you'll be level 18 for one chapter, and then the next one will be like level 25, 26. It felt a lot more concise, less, like I said, less grindy. There's just less time taken to progress the story. And at the end, when you do all the stories, there's sort of like a big end game story that you get to do with everybody, which is really cool. And when it comes to the story, every character, like I said, has their own little story. There's interconnections between each character. There is some very good travel banter that every now and then has left me with a little bit of chuckle, because each character they're all just so quirky in their own little ways. My favorites are Agnia, because she's always so light, so bright, and just a cheerful character. And then there's Throne, who's always kind of dark, dreary. She's the Raven from Teen Titans. with a little more murder on the mind. And then there's Hikari, who's more of a down-to-earth, respectful samurai. And, you know, everyone else has their own little personalities. You know, there's so much character in this game, and I think that's what makes Octopath Traveler 2 so strong, the better-looking younger brother to Octopath Traveler 1.
Duh! I know that! I'm aware!
Because the characters are considerably more entertaining. There's so much more to them, and it's because of the interactivity between the characters. All that being said, I do feel like the world feels so much bigger, so much brighter. One issue that I had with Octopath Traveler 1 was everything felt very horizontal. There's not as much forward and back, there's a lot of left to right. In this game, it's completely different. There's a lot of left to right and back and forth. There's just more depth to the world. It doesn't feel long, it feels big. And not only are you dealing with like one half of a continent, you cross the sea and go to the other half. There's so much to do. There's so many side stories. There's so many interesting characters. And as far as stories go, some of the best are Oswald. I actually really like Agnia because it's the same as like Tressa in the first game. It's sort of somebody's growing up, kind of getting comfortable in their own skin, becoming somebody better. Oswald is a very revenge-heavy story, but it's a very tragic story that is, it has its payoff, and it's very, very interesting. Hikari is very similar. He has a tragic beginning, but as it goes on, you see his character build and become greater and become a true leader. And Throne, kind of the same thing, not necessarily as leader. She starts off wanting to not be an assassin, and because she doesn't want to be an assassin, the assassin family that she's in doesn't want her in anymore, and so she decides, you know what, I'm done with this, I'm breaking out. But they stop her from doing it by literally putting a curse on her with like a collar of some kind, and her purpose is to get rid of it. So there's a lot of characters, a lot of stories, all of them are very interesting. There's so much to do as far as story goes. For those who enjoy good story, I think you'll enjoy the game. Just once again, the problem is there's a lot of stories. There isn't one congruent story. It's a bunch of little stories dotted throughout, and I think that's kind of where Octopath Traveler has a big drawback, and I've learned that about myself playing Octopath Traveler, is I don't like the stories that are separated. I like one big continuous story that maybe has some branches here and there, but all converges back onto one main path. With that being said, I like that it's open. I really enjoy a congruent story that also has openness to it. I think that's probably why I liked Romancing Saga as much as I did. Anyway, that is the only issue that I really have with Octopath Traveler 2, is just the story being separate kind of gets under my skin a little bit. As far as the game's music, once again, Yasunori Nishiki has pulled it off even better than before. The music in Octopath Traveler 2 just hits everywhere. Every time, no matter what part of the world you're in, it's just beautiful music. And I mean, really, same thing with the aesthetics. You know, no matter where you go, the way the world is built, it is very beautiful. The water effects in this game are even better than the last. The world itself feels better, bigger, more beautiful. You can actually see the sky in some spots, which you couldn't do in the first one. And now you get to wander around, you'll see the sunset, and so the lighting will change. And then, you know, obviously lighting changes with nighttime, so the entire aesthetic changes, and the aesthetic of the game really is absolutely stunning. They took everything Octopath Traveler 1 did and they turned it up to 11. So yeah, Octopath Traveler 2 in just about every aspect just nailed it. Just a few little quips here and there going back over. Gameplay is fantastic. The turn-based system, similar to the first one, but with the latent powers and with being less grindy, it feels more satisfying. With the story, like I said, I don't like the separate stories. I like one big story with some little side plots that converge back to the main story. That's just a me problem. So unfortunately it goes into the score, but you know, because it's a me problem. And you know, it's my channel, and I am always right unless I'm wrong, and then I'm still right, because it's my channel. You get the idea.
Big whoop, wanna fight about it?
Anyway, Octopath Traveler 2 really is nearly perfect as far as a turn-based system goes, and as far as a turn-based game goes. Now, did you play Octopath Traveler 2? Did you like it? Let me know in the comment section below. I would really like to know. And with all that said and done, I appreciate you watching this little video. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment, because there might be a chance I might respond to you in another video. Anyway, we'll see you next time.